Ladies and gentlemen, listen closely. Life unfolds in ways that are often beyond our comprehension. People enter our lives, create memories, and sometimes leave without warning or explanation. It is natural to feel betrayed, hurt, or confused when someone who was once close to us suddenly decides to walk away. However, the key to maintaining inner peace and emotional stability is learning to accept what we cannot control. This acceptance is not about surrendering to fate or becoming passive. Rather, it is about understanding the limits of our influence and focusing on what truly matters: our own thoughts, actions, and growth. When someone leaves, our immediate reaction is often to question why. We search for answers, replay conversations, and analyze situations, hoping to uncover the reason behind their departure. This endless cycle of overthinking can consume our mental energy and emotional well-being. The truth is, no matter how much we dissect the past, the reality remains the same. Their decision was theirs to make. We may never fully understand their motives, and that is okay. Clinging to the need for closure only prolongs our suffering. Instead of trying to change what has already happened, we must shift our focus to what we can control: our response. Acceptance is a powerful tool. It allows us to break free from the grip of resentment and disappointment. We often believe that if we had done something differently, if we had been better, kinder, or more understanding, then they would have stayed. But the actions of others are not always a reflection of our worth. People make choices based on their own fears, desires, and circumstances, many of which have nothing to do with us. Their departure is not a statement about our value, but rather an indication of their own journey. Understanding this truth can help us detach from the emotional weight of their decisions. It is also important to recognize that trying to control others is a futile endeavor. No matter how much we love, support, or invest in someone, we cannot dictate their actions or feelings. People have their own paths to walk, just as we do. When we attempt to hold on to those who no longer wish to stay, we only create suffering for ourselves. The harder we grasp, the more we lose. True strength lies in letting go with grace, allowing life to unfold naturally without resistance. This does not mean we should become indifferent or emotionally numb. It is natural to feel pain when someone leaves, and we should allow ourselves to process those emotions. However, there is a difference between acknowledging our feelings and becoming consumed by them. We must learn to observe our emotions without being controlled by them. When we accept that people will come and go as they please, we free ourselves from the burden of expectations. We begin to see relationships as experiences rather than possessions. Some people are meant to stay for a lifetime, while others are only passing through to teach us something valuable. By embracing acceptance, we also open ourselves to new opportunities. When we stop fixating on the past, we make room for new relationships, experiences, and personal growth. Holding on to resentment or longing for what was only blinds us to the possibilities that lie ahead. Life is constantly changing, and every ending is also a beginning. The moment we release our grip on what we cannot control, we step into a space of freedom and peace. Another important aspect of acceptance is understanding that not everything requires a reaction. When someone leaves and later returns, we have the power to decide whether or not to let them back into our lives. However, this decision should be based on our own well-being, not on a desire to prove something or seek validation. Sometimes people return because they see our value only after they have lost us. But our worth was never dependent on their recognition. We must ask ourselves whether their return serves our growth or if it is merely a disruption to the peace we have cultivated. Ultimately, acceptance is about focusing on what we can control: our own mindset, actions, and responses. We cannot force people to stay, nor can we change the past. What we can do is learn, grow, and move forward with wisdom and resilience. The world will continue to shift around us, people will come and go, and circumstances will change. But through it all, we remain the constant force in our own lives. Accepting what we cannot control is not a sign of weakness, it is a testament to our strength. Life often brings unexpected challenges, especially when people we once relied on choose to walk away. When this happens, the temptation to dwell on their absence can be overwhelming. We might find ourselves consumed by thoughts of what went wrong, wondering if we could have done something differently to make them stay. But the truth is, dwelling on the past does nothing to change it. The only thing within our power is how we choose to move forward. Instead of wasting energy on what is lost, the most powerful response is to focus entirely on our own growth. This shift in perspective is not just about self-improvement, it is about reclaiming control over our lives, our emotions, and our future. Personal growth is a journey that requires dedication, patience, and resilience. When someone leaves us, we have a choice. We can either let their absence break us or use it as fuel to become stronger. Growth begins with self-reflection. We must take an honest look at ourselves, not to dwell on past mistakes, but to learn from them. Every experience, whether painful or joyful, carries valuable lessons. Instead of focusing on what others did or did not do, we should ask ourselves, what can I learn from this situation? How can I use this experience to become better, wiser, and more self-sufficient? A crucial part of personal growth is shifting our focus from external validation to internal fulfillment. When people leave, especially those we deeply cared about, it can feel as if a part of our identity is taken with them. We might have defined ourselves through our relationships, our roles, or how others perceived us. But true growth comes from realizing that our worth is not determined by anyone else. We do not need external approval to be valuable. Our growth should be driven by a desire to become the best version of ourselves, not by a need to prove something to those who left. One of the most empowering aspects of focusing on personal growth is discovering new passions and interests. When people exit our lives, it creates space for new experiences. It is easy to become stuck in routines, especially in relationships where we compromise parts of ourselves to accommodate another person. Their absence offers an opportunity to reconnect with who we are at our core. This is the time to explore new skills, pick up hobbies we once loved, travel, or invest in our education. Expanding our knowledge and abilities not only enriches our lives but also builds confidence in our independence. A key element of growth is emotional resilience. Life will always present difficulties, and people will come and go. The ability to process emotions in a healthy way is what sets strong individuals apart. Growth does not mean suppressing pain or pretending not to care. It means facing our emotions head-on, understanding them, and using them as catalysts for transformation. This might involve practicing mindfulness, journaling, therapy, or simply allowing ourselves to grieve without letting it consume us. Emotional strength is built through challenges, and each hardship we overcome makes us more prepared for the future. Focusing on growth also means setting boundaries. When we evolve, not everyone will support or understand our journey. Some may return when they see our strength, but we must evaluate whether allowing them back aligns with our progress. Growth teaches us to be selective about who we surround ourselves with. It is essential to cultivate relationships that uplift and challenge us, rather than those that drain our energy. If someone left once and now wants to return, we must ask ourselves, are they coming back because they genuinely value us, or is it because they see what we have built and want a part of it? Growth involves protecting our peace and ensuring that the people in our lives contribute positively to it. Physical well-being is also a critical part of self-improvement. Taking care of our health through exercise, nutrition, and rest has a profound impact on our mental and emotional state. A strong body supports a strong mind. Physical activity not only enhances confidence, but also releases stress and anxiety, making it easier to stay focused on our journey. Small, consistent efforts towards self-care reinforce the message that we are prioritizing ourselves, not in a selfish way, but in a way that ensures we can show up as our best selves in all areas of life. Another essential aspect of growth is developing mental discipline. Our minds can be our greatest ally or our worst enemy. Negative self-talk, doubts, and fears can keep us stuck in the past. But just as we train our bodies, we must train our minds. This means feeding it with knowledge, challenging limiting beliefs, and cultivating a mindset that embraces challenges rather than avoiding them. Reading, learning from mentors, and surrounding ourselves with growth-oriented individuals help shape our perspectives. Every setback can either be seen as a failure or an opportunity for development. The choice is ours. One of the most transformative realizations in focusing on growth is that we are enough as we are. We do not need to wait for someone's validation or permission to pursue our goals. Often people hesitate to grow because they fear judgment or comparison. But growth is a personal journey, not a competition. The only person we should compare ourselves to is the person we were yesterday. The progress we make, no matter how small, is a testament to our resilience and determination. When we commit to growth, we begin to notice a shift. The things that once hurt us deeply lose their power. The people who left no longer dictate our happiness. We develop a quiet confidence, one that does not need to announce itself, because it is evident in how we carry ourselves. Growth brings clarity, allowing us to see past illusions and recognize what truly matters. It teaches us that we do not need to chase what is not meant for us. Those who are meant to be in our lives will align with our journey, not disrupt it. Focusing on our own growth is the most effective way to move forward when people leave. It is not about revenge or proving anything to anyone. It is about investing in ourselves so that we can live a fulfilling and meaningful life. Every setback, every disappointment, and every moment of loneliness can be transformed into a stepping stone towards something greater. We are not defined by who abandoned us, but by how we rise after they are gone. Growth is not just about becoming better, it is about becoming whole. Your worth is not something that should be determined by others. It is not measured by how many people choose to stay in your life, how much approval you receive, or whether someone who once left suddenly wants to return. Too often we fall into the trap of allowing external opinions to shape how we see ourselves. When people leave, we question whether we were not good enough, not lovable enough, or somehow lacking. But the truth is, your value does not fluctuate based on who acknowledges it. You were enough before they left, and you are enough now. It is human nature to seek validation. From a young age, we are conditioned to believe that our worth is tied to external achievements, the acceptance of others, or societal expectations. We are praised when we meet certain standards and criticized when we fall short. Over time, this leads many people to derive their self-worth from how they are perceived by the world around them. If someone admires us, we feel valuable. If someone rejects us, we feel diminished. But this mindset is dangerous because it places our sense of worth in the hands of others, people who are often inconsistent, unreliable, or dealing with their own insecurities. When someone walks away from our lives, it is easy to assume that their departure is a reflection of our shortcomings. We replay past interactions, wondering if we could have done something differently to make them stay. But the reality is, people leave for their own reasons, and those reasons are not always about us. Sometimes they fail to see our worth because they are blinded by their own issues, fears, or immaturity. Other times they leave because their path no longer aligns with ours. In either case, their choice does not define us. What defines us is how we respond to it. The danger of letting others dictate our worth is that it places our happiness and self-esteem on unstable ground. If we allow people's acceptance to make us feel worthy, then their rejection will inevitably make us feel unworthy. This creates a cycle of emotional dependency where we constantly seek approval, afraid that without it, we are somehow less valuable. But real confidence comes from within. It comes from knowing deep down that our worth is not conditional. It does not decrease when someone fails to see it, and it does not increase when someone suddenly recognizes it. It simply is. True self-worth is built through self-awareness and self-acceptance. It requires looking inward and understanding that we are whole and complete as we are. We are not defined by our past mistakes, our failures, or the opinions of others. We are defined by our character, our resilience, and the way we choose to move forward. When we stop seeking validation from the outside world, we free ourselves from the constant pressure to prove something. We no longer feel the need to beg for attention, explain our value, or convince someone that we are worth their time. Instead, we stand firm in the quiet confidence of knowing who we are. One of the greatest lessons in life is realizing that not everyone will appreciate us, and that is okay. Some people will misunderstand us, underestimate us, or fail to see our potential. Some will walk away when we need them most, only to return when they see the strength we have gained in their absence. But their recognition does not define us. If someone only values us when it is convenient for them, their opinion was never a true reflection of our worth to begin with. The people who truly matter are those who respect and appreciate us, not just in moments of success, but in moments of struggle as well. When we internalize this truth, we stop allowing rejection to shake us. We stop measuring ourselves by how others treat us. Instead of taking someone's departure as a personal failure, we see it as redirection. If someone leaves, it simply means they were not meant to be a permanent part of our journey. If they return, it is up to us to decide whether their presence adds value to our lives or disrupts our peace. Either way, our worth remains unchanged. Building unshakable self-worth requires intentional effort. It means setting boundaries and refusing to allow others to dictate how we feel about ourselves. It means practicing self-respect by walking away from situations that diminish us, rather than clinging to them out of fear. It means choosing to believe in ourselves even when no one else does. When we adopt this mindset, we become unbreakable. We no longer seek approval or fear rejection. We become the kind of person who does not need validation to know they are enough. The moment we stop letting others define our worth, we become free. Free to live authentically, without constantly seeking approval. Free to walk away from relationships that do not serve us. Free to pursue our goals without fearing judgment. Free to be ourselves unapologetically and wholeheartedly. That is real strength. That is true worth. Forgiveness is often misunderstood. Many believe that to forgive means to erase the past, to act as if nothing happened, or to welcome people back into our lives without hesitation. But true forgiveness is not about pretending that pain never existed. It is about releasing ourselves from the weight of resentment. Holding on to anger does not punish those who hurt us, it only burdens us. At the same time, forgiveness does not require forgetting. Remembering is how we learn, how we grow, and how we protect ourselves from being hurt in the same way again. When someone wrongs us, our first instinct may be to hold on to our pain. We replay the situation in our minds, analyzing every detail, wondering why it happened and how we could have prevented it. This cycle of overthinking can consume our thoughts, keeping us trapped in the past. But the reality is, no amount of replaying the past will change what has already happened. The only thing we can control is how we respond moving forward. Forgiveness is a choice, a decision to free ourselves from the anger, bitterness, and negativity that keep us chained to what was. However, forgiveness does not mean blind trust. It does not mean welcoming people back into our lives without question, or allowing them to repeat their mistakes. Forgetting completely would leave us vulnerable to the same harm. There is a difference between letting go of resentment and ignoring valuable lessons. When people show us who they truly are through their actions, we must take note. Remembering does not mean holding grudges, it means gaining wisdom. If someone betrayed us once, we should be cautious if they return. If they walked away in our moment of need, we should remember that the next time they ask for our support. Some people mistake forgiveness for weakness. They believe that to forgive is to give the other person power over us. But true forgiveness is an act of strength. It is saying, I will not let what you did control me. I will not allow my peace to be disturbed by your actions. It is refusing to let pain define us. It takes far more strength to let go of resentment than to hold on to it. But this strength must be paired with awareness. If we forget, we risk repeating the same patterns, allowing the same people to hurt us again and again. Forgiveness is not for the other person, it is for ourselves. When we hold on to anger, we carry that weight into every aspect of our lives. It affects our relationships, our mindset, and our ability to move forward. We may think that holding on to resentment protects us, but in reality, it only keeps us stuck. By forgiving, we take back control. We acknowledge what happened. We accept that we cannot change the past, and we choose to move forward without bitterness. However, moving forward does not mean allowing history to repeat itself. People's actions reveal their true character, more than their words ever will. If someone apologizes but continues to repeat the same behavior, their apology is meaningless. If someone returns after leaving, we must ask ourselves whether they have truly changed, or if they are coming back simply because it is convenient for them. Forgiveness allows us to release anger, but remembering allows us to protect ourselves. In some cases, people will never acknowledge the pain they caused. They may never apologize or even realize the depth of the hurt they inflicted. We cannot control whether they take responsibility, but we can control whether we let their actions define our emotions. Forgiving in these situations does not mean excusing their behavior, it means deciding that we will not let their actions hold power over us. We do not need an apology to find closure. We find closure in our own decision to move forward. Forgiveness does not mean reconciliation. We can forgive someone and still choose to keep them at a distance. We can let go of resentment while also deciding that their presence in our lives is no longer healthy. We can understand their actions, even empathize with their struggles, without allowing them back into our hearts. There is nothing wrong with choosing peace over reconnecting with those who have hurt us. At the end of the day, forgiveness is about inner peace. It is not about erasing the past, but about learning from it. It is about releasing anger while holding on to wisdom. It is about moving forward without carrying the weight of what was, while keeping the lessons that will guide us toward what is yet to come. Peace is one of the most valuable things you can have in life. It is the foundation of mental clarity, emotional stability, and personal growth. Yet, in a world filled with distractions, negativity, and people who may not always have your best interests at heart, guarding your peace requires intentional effort. It means setting boundaries, choosing your battles wisely, and refusing to allow external circumstances to disrupt your inner stability. Peace is not something that happens by accident. It is something you must protect fiercely, knowing that without it, everything else in life becomes more difficult. One of the first steps in guarding your peace is understanding that not everyone deserves access to your energy. Some people thrive on chaos, gossip, or negativity, and if you are not careful, they will pull you into their storm. They will bring their problems to you, expecting you to carry their burdens, but offering nothing in return. While it is good to be compassionate and supportive, there is a difference between helping someone and allowing them to drain you. Your peace is too valuable to be sacrificed for those who only take and never give. Learning to say no without guilt is one of the most important skills you can develop. Another way to guard your peace is by controlling how you react to things beyond your control. Not every situation requires a response. Not every insult needs to be defended. Not every misunderstanding needs to be corrected. Sometimes the best thing you can do for your peace is to simply walk away. People will try to provoke you, challenge you, or bring negativity into your life. But their words and actions only have power if you allow them to. By choosing not to engage in unnecessary conflict, you keep your peace intact and avoid being pulled into situations that do not serve you. Your environment plays a crucial role in maintaining your peace. The people you surround yourself with, the content you consume, and even the physical spaces you spend time in all have an impact on your mental and emotional state. If you are constantly around negativity, toxicity, or drama, it will inevitably seep into your own mind. Guarding your peace means being intentional about what you allow into your space. It may mean distancing yourself from certain relationships, limiting your exposure to social media, or creating a home environment that fosters calmness and positivity. Small changes in your surroundings can make a significant difference in how you feel. Guarding your peace also requires letting go of things that no longer serve you. This includes grudges, past mistakes, and the need for external validation. Carrying resentment only weighs you down, keeping you tied to situations that no longer exist. The past cannot be changed, and constantly revisiting it only robs you of the present moment. True peace comes from acceptance, understanding that what happened has happened, and the only thing within your control is how you move forward. Letting go is not about forgetting or pretending something did not affect you. It is about choosing to no longer let it control your emotions. One of the biggest threats to peace is overcommitment. In an effort to please others, people often take on too much, saying yes to every request, every event, and every obligation, even when it leaves them feeling exhausted and overwhelmed. But spreading yourself too thin comes at the cost of your well-being. Guarding your peace means recognizing your limits and prioritizing what truly matters. It is okay to say no. It is okay to put yourself first. It is okay to choose rest over productivity when you need it. Peace is not found in constantly doing more. It is found in knowing when to pause. Self-awareness is key to maintaining peace. You must recognize what triggers stress, what drains your energy, and what makes you feel unbalanced. Once you understand these things, you can take proactive steps to protect yourself. This may mean creating a morning routine that starts your day with calmness, setting boundaries with certain people, or practicing mindfulness to stay present in the moment. The more you understand yourself, the easier it becomes to guard your peace from things that threaten it. At the core of it all, guarding your peace is about valuing yourself enough to protect your emotional and mental well-being. It is about choosing what serves you, walking away from what does not, and creating a life that prioritizes balance and harmony. It is not always easy, and there will be moments when you are tested. But the more you practice protecting your peace, the stronger you become. And in that strength, you will find true freedom. Life is full of unpredictable events, challenges, and setbacks. No matter how much we plan, things will not always go the way we expect. People will disappoint us, circumstances will shift, and obstacles will arise. However, true strength lies in remaining unshaken by these external events. The ability to maintain inner stability, no matter what happens around us, is one of the most powerful traits a person can develop. It allows us to navigate life with clarity, resilience, and peace, rather than being thrown into chaos every time something unexpected occurs. One of the most important aspects of remaining unshaken is understanding that we do not control everything. Many people waste energy trying to force situations to unfold a certain way or resisting realities that are beyond their influence. This only leads to frustration, anxiety, and disappointment. The key to inner stability is accepting that while we may not control the world around us, we always control how we respond. Instead of fighting against what is, we can choose to adapt, adjust, and move forward with grace. Emotional control plays a crucial role in maintaining steadiness in the face of external events. When something goes wrong, it is easy to react impulsively, getting angry, feeling discouraged, or letting fear take over. But reacting out of emotion often leads to poor decisions. Instead, practicing emotional discipline allows us to take a step back, assess the situation logically, and respond in a way that aligns with our long-term well-being. This does not mean ignoring emotions, it means not allowing them to dictate our actions in destructive ways. A strong sense of self also contributes to remaining unshaken. Many people tie their sense of worth to external factors, how others perceive them. Their job titles, material success, or relationships. When any of these things are threatened or lost, their confidence crumbles. But when self-worth is rooted in something deeper, something internal, external changes no longer have the power to shake it. People who understand their intrinsic value remain stable because they do not depend on fleeting circumstances to define them. Perspective is another powerful tool in staying steady amidst external events. Challenges and setbacks often feel overwhelming in the moment, but when viewed from a broader perspective, they lose some of their weight. A single failure does not define an entire life. A temporary hardship does not mean permanent defeat. When we learn to see difficulties as opportunities for growth, we approach them with a sense of purpose rather than panic. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" we can ask, "What can I learn from this?" This shift in mindset transforms obstacles into stepping stones. Another key factor in remaining unshaken is understanding that people's opinions and actions should not control our emotional state. Many people are easily disturbed by the words or judgments of others. They take criticism personally, seek validation, or let rejection affect their confidence. But the reality is, other people's opinions are simply reflections of their own perspectives, experiences, and biases. They do not define us. When we stop seeking approval and instead trust our own judgment, we become immune to the ups and downs of external validation. Practicing mindfulness and presence also helps maintain stability. Many people suffer because they are too focused on the past or worried about the future. They replay mistakes, dwell on regrets, or constantly anticipate worst-case scenarios. But neither the past nor the future exists in the present moment. True peace comes from staying grounded in the now, dealing with situations as they arise without carrying unnecessary emotional baggage. When we train ourselves to be fully present, external events lose their ability to disturb us deeply. At its core, remaining unshaken by external events is about developing inner strength. It is about knowing who you are, accepting what you cannot change, and choosing to respond to life's uncertainties with wisdom rather than fear. The world will always be unpredictable, but when you cultivate resilience, emotional discipline, and perspective, you become unmovable, calm in the storm, steady in the chaos, and confident regardless of what life throws your way. In the end, life will always be unpredictable. There will be setbacks, disappointments, and moments that test your patience and strength. But when you cultivate inner resilience, you become unshaken by the storms around you. You learn to stand firm in the face of uncertainty, to adapt without losing yourself, and to respond to challenges with wisdom instead of fear. True strength is not about controlling everything, it is about controlling yourself. When you master that, no external event will ever have the power to break you. Stay grounded, stay steady, and move forward with unwavering confidence.